So do not be afraid of aging, so to speak, but make intentions to age with grace, with wisdom, to be youthful in your aging, and to have plenty of vitality. You do not have to become decrepit to die. Many people, even today, lead vital, healthy lives into their 90s, and then suddenly they simply sit down after a beautiful luncheon, and they sit in their garden, and suddenly take a little nap, and don't wake up. It is your duty to plan a gracious exit for yourself. You don't have to imagine every detail, but by taking charge of understanding who you are, you can get more out of life as you gain in wisdom, as you age. And again, there are things that give you energy on a very simple level. John Paul, you might need some boosting. Your cells might need some food. You may be feeding your stomach and not your cells. Do you understand? And so on that level, a green drink, an antioxidant of berries. Sometimes people do juicing. They get organic fruits, vegetables, and they juice. And you live on juices or put a juice into your life every day, your body, you'll get zippity-doo-dah. Also, bee pollen, royal jelly, propolis. There are substances that you can purchase and add this supplementation to your diet. They enhance your immune system, give you a lot more energy. Again, it is true, as things go over time, they do wear down. But you also wear yourselves down by expectation. All right? Good. Questions?
Yes. My name is Monica.
Monica, welcome.
Thank you. I'm wondering about what I've read about earth changes, that my understanding is that as the frequency is increasing, the magnetic draw is weakening.
Yes, it is true.
And that this is creating an illusion of the quickening of time for some people.
Well, definitely, time is not what it used to be.
But I guess my question is this magnetic change and shifting of poles and so on, is that part of the 2012 alignment, or is that part of a different cosmic thing going on, and how long does that last?
It's all connected, number one, and you can think of 2012 as sort of a convenient coat hanger, as something that everyone is learning about, recognizing that something's going to happen. But it's not just focused there. There's shifts, major shifts in the cosmos. In terms of magnetic power, it has been noticed by many that the Earth's magnetic field is decreasing. And yet no one knows why or where, or even the source of gravity, do you understand? And the poles are doing some dancing, and there's definitely a probability that there's a shifting here. Lots of activity at the poles. Polar regions are also opening, in your terms, to inner Earth. In larger terms, as energy comes from the cosmos, think of the Earth as a round ball, and think of two axes, one axis coming out of the North Pole, one at the South Pole. When the cosmic energies from the galaxy, solar system, and energies from the sun, when they are emitted, it is the poles that grab them in, and the equatorial zone, the equator. And this energy really rearranges your your mass agreement on the inside to what you see on the outside. Concurrent with this decrease in magnetic energy of the Earth's magnetic field, there has been an enormous, actually extraordinary increase in your terms now, because you've not been studying it for a long time. It is a natural cycle. But in your terms, scientific see an enormous increase in the magnetic field of the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, if this Earth is decreasing and the sun is increasing, the sun's going to have a more predominant effect on the Earth. Do you understand this?
Yes.
And so Earth has less resistance. Have you ever taken two magnets that are of the, like, two North Poles?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a really strong magnet, and you put them together, what happens? You did this in elementary school. There's a force field, yes?
Yes.
And you can't force them together, really, especially if the magnets are really, really strong. And yet if you have opposition, what happens? They stick together. There's a bit of a dance on this level, not that your sun is going to suck the earth into it, but there is, as the earth's field weakens, it means that the predomination of the sun is more easily accepted onto the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And these frequencies, especially when they are gamma ray frequency, this is the high end of the electromagnetic spectrum versus radio wave frequencies, which be lower end of the spectrum. Lower waves, radio waves, do not penetrate. Gamma waves pass through and penetrate through everything. And so the next few years, there will be more gamma ray bursts that will be transmitted, picked up by the sun and the cosmos, and a weakened magnetic field puts you susceptible for a while or more available to receive this rather than to repel it. All of this is involved in cosmic mechanics that have been set into motion, in your terms, a long time ago. It is fascinating how the planets are doing their dances in alignment with some of your prophecies and some of the things that are coming down. We ask you to marvel over the order and the significance of what is occurring, and to not be frightened about people's projections and this is going to happen and that. You may well have changes in your polar ratio. This does not look at all to us to be as threatening to your stability as some of your other issues. You are being supported. You are not simply random, willy-nilly left alone in the cosmos with forces to sweep you by, and this happens and that happens, and it's just all randomness. When you listen to your scientifics, as kind and maybe as heartfelt as they want to be in understanding these things, many of them are trained in hard science. They don't look to see, hey, these rocks carry consciousness. These rocks have stories in them. The oil has a story. The magnetic shifting has a purpose. This is what's missing in scientific interpretation. Your sciences, your religions, all of your disciplines will not be able to move forward until consciousness is recognized and assigned as being present at all times in all things. This is the crucible of the matter. This is the most challenging point that you have as humankind to pass through. If humanity can recognize this consciousness, not just imagine a good future, but to recognize the presence of consciousness in all things, then you are in the thriving probability. Questions? One more question.
Gary.
Gary, loud and clear, please.
In 1953, President Eisenhower signed a treaty with the Orions.
Yes, we understand that it has been alleged that early 50s that President Eisenhower met at some Air Force base in California. Was it Edwards or something?
Yes.
And there was lots of secrecy around it. This is how the story goes. And he made an agreement. Now, people say it is the Orions, but no one at this point is really truly certain as to exactly who that was agreement was signed. And in some ways, there was the beginning of the selling of technology from ETs giving technology and then humans, or let's say, offering over something else in return. And the point is that it was not just Mr. Eisenhower over time who did these things. many, many, many world leaders were approached with deals, and it was, hey, don't tell anyone else. Do you understand? And lots of world leaders sat on their big secret because they had something big up their sleeve, never figuring that those that they were negotiating with also were approached in the same way. Big Ponzi scheme, do you understand?
Yeah.
Ask a question, Gary.
Anyway, when, from what I've understood, and who knows what that is, but
Good,
there
good.
is some way represented some kind of a federation, and because of all of the scamming, like you're saying, we've been quarantined from the rest of the, let's say, our neighbors in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm just wondering when this quarantine is going to be lifted.
Well, we would say this too, that in certain terms, and we'll talk about this when we come back this afternoon, in certain terms that quarantine is ancient. It is not simply set into motion by what Mr. Eisenhower did. That was, to be fair, the poor man did not know what to do. To be fair, people were freaked out at this time. They thought they had hidden Tesla technology. They thought they knew all this stuff, and then boom, these things start happening after the time-space continuum and atomic energy, and everything started opening up and coming in. And so, to be fair, he thought he was protecting humanity, but he was fleeced because he did not have the psychic ability to understand he was being deceived. And many humans are very wowed when these ETs come in and they say, here, look at this cube, the size of maybe 2 sugar cubes. They'll throw a cube at them. And the human picks up the cube and says, so what? And the ET points its finger at the cube. And the cube suddenly opens a hole in reality 3 feet wide. And the ET says, hey, look in the hole. Think about something you want to see. And the person looking on the hole can think about their childhood and see themselves through this hole like a child. Or they can think of the moon and see what's on the moon. That'll rattle your nervous system. Would you agree?
Yes.
So, the quarantine is much older. It was put in long time ago when the giants created lots of problems and there were space wars in ancient times. And once the space wars, old atomic energies came down, the quarantine was put in. We'll talk about this more after your jolly lunchtime. Have a good time, and we'll see you later.